So it's a real problem. So much so I had to make this video because there's so many people out there who want to get absolutely ripped, rippling abs while also maintaining a high degree of muscle mass. And they don't understand exactly how hard it is. Now, part of the problem is that we're so accustomed to seeing people in Hollywood literally go from looking like average human beings to Greek gods in very short periods of time. People who never lifted a weight in their lives within the course of only a couple of months getting ready for a movie transform and have these hyper muscular physiques while being absolutely cut to shreds. And then they have the audacity to say that the reason why they look the way they do is because they trained every day and ate tons of chicken breasts, which is completely untrue. The only way you can build that kind of muscle while at the same time getting really defined is if you're using steroids. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And unfortunately, we see their transformation, the transformations as well of fitness influencers and bodybuilders on drugs. And the average person starts to think that they should be able to get there in a short period of time. And that's simply not how it goes. Now, I know a thing or two about exactly how much it takes and how long it takes to get into that kind of a shape, because I started at 125 pounds at 6 feet tall. And it took me 11 years to get the physique that you see here. And I did that training with a system called naturally intense, high intensity training, whereby I would train at blisteringly high intensity workouts that last 10, 15, maximum 20 minutes, just 3 times a week. That's 11 long years. And so in this video, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you and tell you exactly what it takes for the average person to get the kind of physique whereby you're defined, while at the same time holding on to a significant amount of muscle mass. So in this video, we're talking about exactly what it takes to get a natural bodybuilding physique. And here's something that might help put it into perspective. Imagine if you took up a particular sport, something that you're absolutely passionate about. You took up this sport, you're just starting out, and after 6 months to a year, you expect to stand on the podium in the Olympics. Which of course would be absolutely absurd, but that's the degree of dedication and commitment that it takes to look like a high-level natural bodybuilder. You have to be training and focused as the same level as an Olympic athlete. And the same way that no one would expect to get a gold medal after only training for a couple of months in a particular sport, it's the same way that the average person should not expect to be lean and well-muscled in a very short period of time, regardless of how short a time it takes for those on steroids to do it. It's hard to put into words exactly how long those 11 years were for me as a natural bodybuilder just starting off. When I first went to the gym, they told me I did not have the genetics to be a bodybuilder. I was far too skinny, and without using drugs, there was no way I could ever step on a stage and look impressive. But I didn't let that stop me. I would train very often to the point where I would throw up on a regular basis, and I never missed a workout. And as far as my diet was concerned, I was always 100% on, doing everything I could to get to my goal. Which, as a teenager growing up in Trinidad, a place where partying was essentially something we did all the time, never drinking any alcohol and always staying faithful to my diet and not straying in the face of peer pressure was exceptionally difficult. But my focus was such that I needed to make sure that I did every single thing I could every single day. Make sure I trained as hard as humanly possible. Make sure I was absolutely all in my diet, because I wanted to go to bed every single night and lay my head on that pillow knowing I did every single thing possible to help me achieve my goals. Peer pressure didn't sway me, nor was I swayed by the number of people who kept on telling me what I was doing was absolutely absurd. I would never, ever amount to anything as a bodybuilder, but I kept on going nonetheless. That's the level of commitment and dedication that it takes to achieve a high-level natural bodybuilding physique. And the problem is that so many people out there will look at me and my fellow natural bodybuilders and accuse us of using steroids because they themselves tried training for a couple of months with a half-hearted diet, didn't get the results that we got, and somehow or the other extrapolate that to the idea that because they weren't able to do it, no one could do it. You wouldn't look at an Olympic athlete in any particular discipline who dedicated their lives to doing what they do and think that somehow or the other you can dabble in it and perform at the level that they're performing. And it's the same with high-level natural bodybuilders. Our commitment is 110% on our worst days. And people look at the way I look today at 50 years old and say, well, you probably don't have to train as hard and diet as hard to look the way you do. And that's absolutely not the case. I haven't competed in over 20 years and I still train as hard, if not perhaps even farther into where I was competing. As far as my diet is concerned, I eat an uncompromising diet of only unprocessed foods, and I never have cheat meals, ever. It's hard to put into words for some people exactly what that means. In fact, the last time I had ice cream was August of 1994. And the last time I had pizza was in 2005. And when I came to America at 20 years old, I made a vow I was not going to eat any of the junk food that was going to hinder me from achieving my goals. So I've never had apple pie, I've never had pretzels, never had a bagel, even though I live in New York, and I've never had lasagna and almost all the fast foods that exist here in the US. Now, you may look at me and think somehow or the other that I'm missing out on something, and I'm not, because this is something my natural bodybuilding colleagues and I share in common. From the outside, it may look like a sacrifice, training so hard and never having any form of junk food whatsoever. But the word sacrifice doesn't apply here because I'm not giving anything up. This is my life. And there's no junk food or processed food out there that tastes anywhere near as good as how I feel. This is a complete path of excellence. And if you want to have that type of physique, you have to also be on a path of excellence. You're not going to get this type of physique just dabbling in weight training and your diet. You have to be fully committed. And understand as well that results as a natural athlete takes a long time. If you were to look at the world championship winners over the years in natural bodybuilding, both male and female, most of them are in their mid-40s to mid-50s. And the reason why that is because bodybuilding gains are incremental. The longer you do it, the better you get at it. And so you have to have some form of training that's absolutely sustainable. I train an hour or less per week. And that low volume training, which made it possible to have a busy lifestyle to keep on training. And also because the volume was so low, it allowed me to keep on training heavy today because I don't have any overuse injuries. And even more importantly, I see my counterparts out there who use drugs. And yes, they may have looked fantastic for a short period of time. But again, as the years go by, there is a price to pay. And if you follow the natural path, it takes far longer, but the only side effects you have to worry about is physical and spiritual development. I started on this path to look like a natural bodybuilder, but along the way, I found something even more important. I discovered myself because it became a path of true self-discovery, and the lessons I learned of hard work, dedication, and unwavering commitment have helped me in every single aspect of my life. And if you follow this path, you won't just grow your biceps, you're going to grow as a person. Now, my whole life is based on the idea to whom much is given, much is expected. And so I always do my best to share as much as possible. Because I remember when I was starting out as a young natural bodybuilder, the fact that there was not any information out there for natural athletes. And that almost everything I came across back then and what I see even today is always trying to sell you something. So, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you believe in yourself. Know I believe in you, and as always, Excelsior.